Right, well, this is the big day in the United States for the primaries and caucuses in the upcoming presidential election, which is due to take place next November, where we have 15 states and one overseas US territory which are voting in these primaries to try to select which candidates will be nominated as by their party to run as presidential candidate in the upcoming election. So, as I said, 15 states, you can see them on the map here, and there are up for grabs 1/3 of total delegates, or thereabouts 1/3 of total delegates. That's why this is such an important race. That is 874 Republicans and 1,420 Democrats. Now, this is going to be a race, probably, unless something dramatic happens between now and then, that's going to pit Donald Trump on one side and Joe Biden on the other. Even that is quite extraordinary. It's the first time in the history of the United States that we will see an outgoing president and a former president hitting it off for the upcoming presidential elections. It's not quite won for both of them yet, but this is going to be the day where we're going to see voting taking place and probably more consolidation for both candidates who will then go on to face each other later this year. And we'll probably know not today whether they are going to be nominated as a party candidate, but we'll be pretty close to knowing that by the time that Super Tuesday is over.
And it's fair to say that Donald Trump is very much en route to that nomination right now. What's at stake for him today?
Right, well, he's got a super boost here because of the ruling by the Supreme Court over Colorado yesterday, which has left his name on the ballot paper, basically. So he needs 1,215 delegates. So far, he's got 247, but he's predicting today, the Trump camp is predicting that he's going to get 773. So that's going to be a supreme boost for him in this race towards the White House. But that doesn't mean that his legal cases have all come to an end, because he still faces 4 criminal cases and 91 felony counts. And although this is played in his favour amongst Trump supporters who believe that he's being penalised, that he's up against a system that doesn't want him to run, many are believing that if he is actually convicted, that will sway many of those who are willing to support him to not support him. And a recent opinion poll in the New Hampshire Republican primaries found that 42% said Trump would not be found fit for office if he were guilty. So he is not out of the woods yet, but Trump is describing what he's doing as like the juggernaut, and is steaming ahead to the detriment of Nikki Haley, who is his real only challenger in this race. She doesn't look set to win anything today. She might pull off a couple of states if she's very lucky. She's only won one state so far, that's Washington, D.C., and she just recently lost Michigan and her home state of South Carolina. But she's determined to stay in the race for 2 reasons. First, she says, I could replace Donald Trump if he drops out of the race, and once Donald Trump is no longer in politics anymore, I will be the person who's going to be the new candidate for the Republican Party. It's not going to be easy for her, because she's also irked quite a lot within the Republican Party already.
So that's the focus on the Republican Party. But this Super Tuesday, what about Joe Biden, the president?
Well, Joe Biden needs 1,918 delegates to get the party nomination. He currently has 206, but a total up for grabs still for him, 1,420. So he looks pretty much like he's going to pull off the nomination for candidate for the Democratic Party. He's also got key vulnerabilities. He's struggling to sell his achievements since he's been in office since 2021. He's trying to convince the public that he's fit enough to take on another mandate, not too old. He's got all these health problems that people keep dragging out into the open. And he's also lost support from a part of the electorate over his stance supporting Israel in the conflict in Gaza. But as of Super Tuesday today, a couple of figures for you to wind up. 132 days till the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, 167 days until the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, and 245 days until the presidential election in November.